Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Butte-Silver Council of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Clerk,
One presiding, 8 present, 3 absent.
please let the record show that Commissioner Sorich, Commissioner Fisher, and Commissioner Fortune are excused. Commissioner Thatcher, will you lead us in the prayer and the pledge, please?
Fellow commissioners, Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which so greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Thatcher. I will now ask for public comment on any items on the agenda. All right, seeing none. Report of the chair. I first want to say that Chief Executive Gallagher couldn't be here tonight. He's speaking at a conference and I cannot remember what it's called, but he's on a panel and speaking at a conference in Bozeman and apologize that he couldn't make it tonight. Also, I want to report that this is my last council meeting, as all the commissioners know, and I'm sure members of the public do. I just want to say thanks for everything, and it's been an honor to serve on council. I'm going to be miss it, and these commissioners and past commissioners, I figure I've been to 280 meetings over the last 6 years, or 5 years and 11 months, and probably 60 as chair. So yeah, I'm gonna miss it, and I just want to thank everyone, and it's been great serving. I'm taking pending this council's confirmation, I will be the new Public Works Director starting June 5th, so, or Parks and Rec. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, I'm a little bit. This is strange for me to be in my last meeting because I really liked being a commissioner. So, but yes, Parks and Rec. Yeah, enough about me, and we'll move on. Section 1, bid openings, public hearings and/or presentations. Public hearings, 1, communication number 2024-229. Julia Crane, Public Works Planning Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a public hearing on May 22nd, 2024. Committee of the Whole meeting, and to recommend the Council of Commissioners approve the Comprehensive Plan Amendment number 24-000001. A resolution has been prepared and will be on the May 22nd, 24 agenda for the Judiciary Committee. Do we have representatives from the, first we'll ask for proof of publication from the County Attorney.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. For under number 1 of public hearing, and I'll also do 2 and 3 under bid openings, there has been proof of publication for all 3, and it appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll ask for a staff report. Do we have, I know Director Crane is gone. Do we have a staff from the planning department? Would you like to come up? Please state your name and your name for the record, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Joella Thomas. I'm the senior planner for the planning department.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about what this public hearing is all about?
Yes. So this is, we're seeking a pending the housing strategic plan for the 2020 comprehensive plan. What the housing strategic plan is it's a long-range comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan serves as a blueprint for how residents would like to see development occur over the future time periods. It sets forth the goals, objective policies, and implementation strategies for aspects of development. The comprehensive plan is not a regulatory plan, but it does guide the development of policies such as zoning and land use. which is regulating, and that guides what we can and cannot allow to happen on individual properties. The Montana Code annotated 761601-4 states that communities can adopt additional information and policies or goals in addition to those embodied in the comprehensive plan and attach them as an appendix. Butte-Silver Bow has incorporated the Uptown Master Plan as well as the Parks Master Plan, and is now seeking to adopt the Housing Strategic Plan into the comprehensive plan.
All right. Thank you. Are there any other questions from commissioners on adding this housing amendment to the comprehensive plan? All right, seeing none, I will open up the public hearing. First call for proponents. Please come up and state your name and address for the record. First call for proponents. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. First call for opponents. Second call for opponents. Third call for opponents. Public hearing is closed. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to bid openings. 2, communication number 2024-204, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Grant Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for May 22nd, 2024 for the hazardous tree removal at Stoughton Park. Public Works Director Neary, thank you.
Frederickson. The first bid is from Gregory Construction out of Sarver, Pennsylvania.
Chairman Frederickson, it appears as though a bid bond has been posted by a licensed surety company in the amount of 10% of the bid, and it appears to be in order.
Chairman Frederickson, Commissioners, the total on this bid is $813,000 even. $813,000.
Okay. $813,000 even. All right.
The second bid is from Over the Top Tree Service in Butte.
Chairman Frederickson, it appears as though a cash bond has been posted in this one in the amount of 10% of the bid.
Chairman Frederickson, the total bid amount on this is $75,000.
Okay, 75,000.
Yeah, 75.
The bond was 7,500, right? That's 10% of 75,000. I know. This guy's coming from Pennsylvania. The third bid is from Custom Tree Care, Topeka, Kansas.
Chairman Frederickson, it appears as though a bid bond has been posted by a licensed surety company. However, by my calculation, it is not in the amount of 10%, it is under 10%.
Okay. So that one is disqualified. Okay.
Is this the fourth one? Yep. The fourth bid is from Pearston Tree Service in Butte.
Chairman Frederickson, in this one, a bid bond has been posted in the amount of 10% by a licensed surety company, and this one does appear to be in order.
Chairman Frederickson, the total bid on this is $159,950. $159,950.
$959,000, 950.
159.
159, sorry.
And the final bid is from Tapper Light Services in Butte.
Chairman Frederickson, in this one, a cash bond has been posted in the amount of 10%.
Okay.
Chairman Frederickson, the total bid on this one is $175,000 even.
Okay, $175,000. All right, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I make a motion, I just wanted to ask the Public Works Director if there was an engineer's estimate or an estimate for this, because the bids are all over the place.
Director Neary.
Chairman Frederickson, Commissioner Shea, I do not know that they had an engineer's estimate
Okay.
at all.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm sure you will investigate that. So at this time, I would make a motion to refer the bids for the hazardous tree removal at Stodden Park back to the Public Works Department for their research and recommendation.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Mr. Neary, could you tell us what the grant money was worth? How much of the grant money? Didn't we receive a grant for this, and can you tell us how much that was?
Director Neary.
Chairman Frederickson, I do not know.
Yeah, I can't, I'm sorry, I apologize, I can't remember. I'll know for you in a couple weeks, but I can't remember what it was, what it was for. I think it might have been for $150,000, but I can't remember for sure. Commissioner Mankins.
Thank you, Commissioner Frederick. I know that Karen's in the, did I ask you this a few weeks ago? Not, I know that I asked this and it was somewhere in that 400, but nope, I guess it was not Karen, so. But I know that we received a grant that covered this
Yeah.
amount and then some.
All right, are there any other questions on the motion? All right, will commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote? 9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Director Neary. All right, we have another bid opening. 3, communication number 2024-240, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Budget and Grants Writer, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for May 22nd, 2024 for the LED lighting upgrade for the detention center. Hello, Facilities Manager Sullivan.
Commissioner Frederickson. Looks like we have 3 bids for this. The first bid is from Drake Electric out of Broomfield, Colorado.
Excuse me. For the record, Deputy County Attorney Caitlin Lamb, a bid bond has been posted for 10%. It appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you.
The price for this bid is $232,016, 232,016.
$232,000
$232,016.
and $16. Okay. Okay.
Second bid is from Long Building Technologies, Billings, Montana.
A bid bond has been posted in the amount of 10%. It appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you.
Bid cost on this bid is $285,603, 285,603 and 0 cents.
$285,603.
Correct. The third bid is from Elkhorn Electric here in Butte.
A bid bond has been posted for 10%, and it appears to be in order.
Okay.
So this bid, Commissioner Frederickson, is $103,821, 103 82100.
Okay, $103,821.
Correct.
All right. Are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, do you have an estimate, projected cost for this?
We did. We had a consultant do a lighting study here within the past year, and they had it at about $165,000.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any other questions from commissioners? All right. Seeing none, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would make a motion to refer all of the bids back to the facilities manager for their recommendation.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk? 9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. All right. Presentations. For communication number 2024-209, Kristen Rosa, Economic Development Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024, regarding the annual reports of the URA, HAS, South Butte TED, and Montana Connections TED. All right, Director Burns, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson and members of the commission. My name is Karen Burns. I'm the Director of Community Development for Butte-Silver Bow. Tonight, we're going to tag team the presentation between myself and Kristen Rosa, who is an Economic Development Coordinator with our office, and Pauline Giacomino, who is the URA Project Financial Manager. And so you're going to get a little bit of everyone up here tonight. So we're giving our annual reports on our districts that implement tax increment financing. This is something that and is actually in Montana code that we give this presentation to you. So I'll start off, and we're going to talk about the number of districts that we have and where they're located. If I can click. There we go. So right now we actually have 5 districts that are in existence in Butte-Silver Bow, but 3 of them have active tax increment financing provisions. So that means we have the Urban Revitalization Agency, which is the Uptown District. That is a district that was established in 2014, and then we just voted and moved on that expansion to take in more of the hill north of the existing district boundary, and that was approved in 2023. We also have the Targeted Economic Development District, also called the TED, and that was approved in 2017 and then expanded again along those same lines when we were on the road here and talking to you at length about these districts and their expansion or creation. The Harrison Avenue District, Urban Renewal District, or the HAS as we call it, has been in existence since 2019. And then the Montana Connections Targeted Economic Development District was formed in over kind of the same footprint as TIFID number 2, but with some slightly different boundaries and expansion. And that district was again in 2023, but was just approved for that district to be in existence. I guess we actually have 4 active districts. That's a misnomer. Sorry, we have 4, not 3. Those first 4 are the ones that are all active with an active TIF provision. We also have the East Butte Renovation and Rehabilitation Agency. We like to call that the RRA. That district was created in 2005, has sunset the tax increment provision. That means no new money is coming into that district through property tax collection. But the district is still in existence, and it still has active projects that are working on either being completed or even started yet, but the funds have been allocated to those projects. Wanted to just review really quickly how tax increment works. Many of you, I know all of you, have seen this slide before, and this just depicts why and how you create a tax increment district. or financing district. So the taxable value is there. Then you can see that over time, if you're going to create a district, you see where those taxable values are either declining or becoming stagnant. And all those different levy districts are making up that total tax increment or tax. When you establish a district, you establish a base, and that's that blue line. And that's when you're trying to gauge where you're at the bottom of those stagnant or declining values. And at that base, everything that you pay over time continues to fill that base. But once you create the district and programs and goals established and start investing back into that district, you should see an increase in that taxable value. And that little hashed area is the increment then you are allowed to collect within that district and reinvest back into projects that you've identified through your plans and goals for that district. And then at the end of the day, when the tax increment vision does sunset, you should see a greater value overall that comes back to your community. And that's why you see that shift of those lines on the side of the graph, where you see those base values where it says state or city, county, or schools, as they were declining and then became stabilized, they should shift upwards at the end of that tax increment provision. That's the ultimate goal. And we can say that we have sunset districts within this community a few times, and this has held true. We've seen that shift and we've seen that benefit that would not have happened had the districts not been there to incentivize that investment and growth. Happy to talk about this chart at length with any of you. If anybody would like to come and talk to us in our office, we're happy to talk about it. We like to present it every single time though, just to drive it home. One important note that we are constantly talking about is that tax increment financing does not have an individual effect on any property owner. The TIF provision only affects the way in which new property tax dollars above that base are distributed after they're collected. As always, taxes are paid based on the value of the property that you have, including any improvements that you make to it. Property owners benefit by being in a district because improvements are being made in that district to eliminate blight or extend infrastructure to make it more economically viable and to live there and work there and create jobs. Tax increment funds, how can they be spent? So the funds can be spent within the district boundaries. There are some exceptions for connecting infrastructure. This can be an example of if you had a district that wasn't served by sewer or water, if you were going to extend sewer water to that district, those connections that were outside the boundary could still be paid for by those tax increment dollars because you're bringing that infrastructure into an area that didn't have it before. Urban renewal district funds focus on eliminating blight, and blighted conditions is a large definition in the Montana Code, but it can mean, buildings that are crumbling, inconsistent roadways, lack of infrastructure, broken up sidewalks, many different things, abandoned buildings, things like that. Targeted economic development districts focus on industrial infrastructure and bringing in jobs and value into that district through the placement of infrastructure or improvement of infrastructure. Administrative costs can also be paid from the increment, and various administrative arrangements are in existence across the state. Some entities contract, some cities contract with outside agencies to administer their districts. Ours are all managed by our local governing body and city county staff. So we have a couple of different forms of our tax increment district programs. The URA and the Harrison Avenue district are both urban renewal districts, and they grant and match funds of qualifying costs of improvements to be made in the district. We also have loan programs. The URA in Uptown focuses on existing historic district and preservation of that district, and also the building of infrastructure within the district. The Harrison Avenue district focuses on economic development and retail development enhancement on that large retail corridor that we have. We're also working on a lot of projects that have been working to extend infrastructure in that area as well. The South Butte and the Montana Connections TED focus on infrastructure grants. They have a loan program, and they also focus on feasibility assistance. That is, doing engineering plans or other kinds of plans for industrial development. And they focus on the retention and expansion of industry and actively work on recruiting new business to our community. And I think that's where my time ends, and I'll introduce Pauline Giacomino.
Hello. Oh wait, you didn't take. Okay. So this is the URA district boundaries. The purple part is where it's been expanded. We have not awarded any projects in that area at this time because we're still waiting on the base values from the Department of Revenue. So for this year, we currently have 133 active projects. 1.3 million of those funds have been awarded through this fiscal year, which is leveraging approximately 5.3 million in investment. We have paid out approximately $1.19 million this year for projects that kind of were pending from the last fiscal year that still needed to be completed, and some for this year that have been completed. And we have a pretty healthy loan portfolio. We have 32 active ones, and the balance due at this time is $4.5 million. And we've been working on the Uptown Master Plan implementation. And this spring, we should see some crosswalk improvements, and we've been currently working on some pedestrian and vehicular lighting and wayfinding. These are some of the projects that we have assisted in. You can see the before and after photos. So these were a couple duplexes that have been kind of in disarray for several years at 659 and 661 South Montana. This is the new Rudolph's building where they now have condos and are going to have some storefronts at 5965 East Park. And then this is the Iron Street Housing Project with the National Affordable Housing, where they're building some family housing along the highway entrance area there. We also have, so I also am part of the Harrison Avenue District. The boundary is outlined in the blue. I don't know how well you can see that, but if you ever want a copy of the map, just let me know. Currently, this fiscal year, we have awarded $249,000 on 5 active projects, and we have also entered into some development agreements right now that are awarded at $715,000. So our Harrison Avenue District is, it wasn't created too long ago, and we're starting to see a lot of incremental value there at about $3.9 million. This year, we have paid out so far $211,000. That's including just regular grant payouts along with our development agreements, which we pay those over a certain time frame for each different development agreement. And this is just a couple of the projects we've been working on. So this is the Cornerstone Plaza. I'm sure you've all seen all that dirt work moving. And then this is also the senior affordable housing on Meadowlark Corridor Road. And so I guess I will turn this over to Kristen.
Chairman Frederickson, Commissioners, Kristen, Rosa. Same philosophy here. I work on the targeted economic development districts on industrial infrastructure mostly. And this one is, we did expand it. So what's in purple is the expansion, what's in black is the original one. This district is pretty interesting in that we are seeing declining increments in this district because we have some very high dollar projects that happened in that district, but they're depreciating very fast. So we our first year of increment, after a negative increment, our first year of increment was $1.6 million. Last year was $575,000. So it's an interesting district. We'll keep working to try and change that trend. We have engaged, we did an infrastructure analysis, and just a couple weeks ago, you guys approved a contract. We are going to rebuild North Parkmont Road, and we this year supported the McDermott development, which is a large 60,000 square foot warehouse that John McDermott has developed in the purple area. So this is North Parkmont. This is a before picture. Next year I'll show you an after picture. But this one we are going to put in, we will be repaving curb, gutter, sidewalk, fiber conduit, and improved stormwater infrastructure. So this is pretty exciting that we're getting our first big project up and going in this district. As Karen said, we did get all the approvals in place. So we have a new targeted economic development district in the area where the TIFID number 2 was, and we're calling it Montana Connections TED. You can see these are the new boundaries. We took in property south that wasn't included in the original district and excluded property that was north. While this district hasn't had an increment provision in it for the last couple years, it is still a very busy district, and what's going on out there. We have these, I'll just list these, but I have some pictures that we continue to work with Sonata on their development. We signed a new purchase and sale agreement for a different piece of property for them. We continue to have great conversations with them. We continue to have conversations with DeVell, also the modular house manufacturer. He was actually in town this week. He's working on just trying to get a large enough pipeline of projects or housing developments so that he can get his manufacturing facility up and going. So this is another exciting picture. I don't get quite as exciting pictures as Pauline, minor roads. But we are in the process of finishing the Rail Park subdivision. That was 3 new roads, 3 new cul-de-sac roads we put in there. It was a $3.4 million project. We extended water, industrial water, gas, electric, sewer, and fiber conduit again in all of those roads. And we have some development that will be utilizing those roads as soon as they're done. We do have a smaller project that's going off Sugarloaf Loop, which is AMD distribution. It's about a $3 million investment. 5 to 9 new jobs is what they projected when they talked to us. Empire Building Materials is going great guns out there. They are on a 40-acre parcel. They are investing over $10 million and expect to have 60 new jobs in the coming 5 years. And as I said, the National Guard Readiness Center is almost complete. It's a harder site to get on, so I couldn't get close to get a nice picture, but if you look at that one, especially when you're driving down I-15, it's a pretty amazing building, and I think it's a $30+ million investment. So I'll just kind of go over the legislature. As you know, we like to tell you what the legislature is going to do to us, or what they have done to us. But what we're hearing for the 2025 session is tax increment is being discussed in a lot of places. It's being discussed in the Revenue Interim Committee. It's being discussed at the Governor's Council of Property Tax Reform, and it's being discussed by the Chamber of Commerce. It's never really good to have that many people talking about your program. So we are paying attention. We, along with a lot of people that work on tax increment financing in the state, we're trying to pay attention to what everybody is saying and see if we can be there to participate, make sure that they know what the program is doing and why we see a lot of value in it. But some of the things that are coming out is a need for a new definition of blight, neither modified or updated. The district creation committees, this was the most recent one at Revenue Interim. Somebody thought that maybe there needs to be a more formal process to create these districts and maybe guaranteed representation from all the taxing jurisdictions that are affected. This kind of happens already, but they feel a need to maybe expand that, I guess. Again, We have a legislator out of Billings that believes there needs to be some sort of public involvement if a district is going to be expanded beyond their original 15 years. The only way you can expand a district is through bonding. The only way you can bond is to have a public hearing. That's public involvement. So we're not quite sure what they're after, but they may come up with something to try and change that. And then they are talking about maybe changing the way that property is assessed when the district sunsets. Right now, it's treated as newly taxable, and they're believing that maybe that is an incorrect way to treat that. This is part of the requirement. These are our audited financials from our budget book. So I included them in the presentation this time. Everybody knows where to find these if they want to see them. I won't go over them, but these are what we put in that performance budget, dealing with our major financial objectives and the audited financials. And that is it. So if you have any questions of any of us, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. I have one question, first off, on the South Butte. If the increment continues to decline, you just don't award as much money, or can you talk about, is there a process, does it ever go away if it continues to decline, or?
So Chairman Frederickson, Commissioners, no, it doesn't go away until the end of the 15 years. If you don't have any increment, you just don't have any money to do your projects. With the project that we just released, we are spending a major portion of the increment or the funds that we have in that district. So we will have to wait probably a little bit to do our next project, see if things turn around, see if we can attract more business there. John McDermott is doing a very good job of working hard to attract business, and we work with him because we get leads asking for things, so we promote his property just as much as we promote any property around the county.
Okay, and then my other question is for the expanded URA, when do you anticipate that you will receive the base value from the DOR? Or the Department of Revenue, sorry.
Commissioner Frederickson, I can answer that one because it is for all of the districts, the 2 expanded districts and the new district. We should have them by the time they certify values for 2024. What part of the problem that they're working on is because these are 2023 values, so they have to figure out what the centrally assessed or the industrial assessed properties are inside those boundaries. But one of the biggest things they're working on is some of the legislation that has changed how what mills are involved or counted towards the increment. They now have districts that pass, and one of ours, the South Butte TED, is one of them. Part of it was created in 2017, and part of it was created in 2023, and different mills will be excluded from the increment based on those creations. So they have to figure out how they're going to report those back to the county.
Okay. Are there any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Anderson and then Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you for the presentation. I always enjoy it. And I always love the first slide because I like how it stays steady. And I like to see that upward trajectory because it has really benefited my district over the years and continues to do so. I do have a question about it, though. Ms. Rosa, you mentioned that it actually went down. Does that reset the boundary, or does it still stay that way and we just don't collect anything until it goes back up over that line?
Commissioner Anderson, Ms. Rosa.
Chair Frederickson, Commissioner Anderson, we still collect. So to be clear, the property values are still higher than the base. But if your valuation goes below the base, there just is no increment. There's no money coming into your district. So
okay.
You can reset the base. It's difficult now to reset the base, but just the loss of valuation doesn't automatically reset your base, no.
Okay.
Follow up,
And
Commissioner
quick
Anderson.
Follow-up. That's what I figured, but I was kind of curious on it. And then another question I have. I saw where one of the programs is we're trying to lure and bring in one company that does modular homes. I know that one of the big things right now in our community and all around the state and country really is affordable housing. And that some of the houses, project on the HAS, Harrison Avenue, was senior low-income housing. Is there communication between the groups and these other companies to work together and try to benefit all? I know that if we brought in more income, this housing group with the modular homes, it would make the other projects a lot cheaper, I would imagine, and build up everything.
Commissioner Anderson, Director Burns.
Chairman Frederickson and Commissioner Anderson, members of the council. Yes, to answer your question, we do try to hook up entities that could work together and be mutually beneficial to each other, and talk those through. When we see an interest in creating a affordable housing project, and we've got a developer who's interested in that, we would definitely make sure that they were in contact with affordable housing supplier like DeVel. We would definitely make sure that that was happening. Some of the projects have different development funding sources and wouldn't have maybe benefited from modular. The low-income housing or affordable housing for seniors that is going on in the South Butte or Harrison Avenue district, that was funded through low-income housing tax credits through the state of Montana's housing programs, and then also some private equity funding. And then the Harrison Avenue district participated by extending a water line and looping the system to get that infrastructure to that housing project. So there's ways to pull all these pieces together to make it work. And to answer your question, yes, we definitely want all of these entities working together, and that's part of what we're going to work on implementing with the housing strategic plan as well. Yeah, all of these plans do work together. Thank you.
Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Christian, I was just curious on the old TIFID, now the TED, the map you had up there that was the expansion. I know you'd been working with Salvi. Is that any part of that expansion yet, or is that still in the wishes, or?
Commissioner Callahan.
Commissioner, or Chair
Ms.
Frederickson, Commissioner Callahan.
Ms. Rosa.
Yes, all of the Solvay property is included in this district. So, and we, I don't want to say it too loudly, but I think we might be making progress on getting that 40 acres in not Solvay ownership, which if you drive out there, that new road, it's an awesome place to maybe put a couple more businesses. So, fingers crossed.
You have a follow-up? Nope, you're
Nope,
good?
that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Commissioner Reardon.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. If you could go back to that graph that you put up first, what was Danny's favorite graph or whatever? We going right? That one right there. And I'm not a professional at this, obviously, you know that. Probably this question, you'll eat me up or whatever. As you know, I represent the poorest district in Butte. And basically, we talk about urban blight and all that. So in your presentation and all that, what I was looking at is the fact that you have to meet so much increment value or anything to get this money. Is that correct? Or you have, so what if you start with basically nothing? And I don't know, you know, it seems like in this part, a great project was that one on Main Street and all that. That was good. But the thing about it is that we still have a lot of other issues in that area as far as, I know there's some cleanup areas and all that. And obviously we have some problems with basically land to build affordable housing on. So I guess in encompassing the whole scenario is basically and I don't believe for sure that the district gates, there are some parts, but has Central Butte, when was the last time Central Butte received any of this increment money, if they can even get it, due to this scrap?
Commissioner Reardon, Director Burns.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, Commissioner Reardon, and members of council. So an individual property owner is not barred from participating in any of our programs. Our programs are district-wide. So it's not on an individual property kind of basis. So if you live or own a business or own property within this district boundary, you're eligible to apply for funds from our programs under the programs of what dictates what's eligible under the programs, right? And so any property owner could benefit from our programs. Our matching grant funds do require that you have another source of funding to pay that match. So if we give you a 25% grant on a new roof, you could get 25% of the funds from us, but you have to have another source for those other funds. And that can be the difficult part. And so that's where we partner or try to partner with other funding agencies to bring in that other source of funding or piece of it. We've worked with REAP grants, other federal funding sources so that we could match from NeighborWorks or CDBG. There's also the housing funds from USDA that can be matched. We've done many projects on individual properties where there was a disabled or elderly person who couldn't afford to get their sewer line fixed, and they needed a new roof and new windows. So the URA came in with 25% of the cost. The USDA came in with another percentage of the cost, and being able to get those projects done. So I guess my answer to your question is that anyone is eligible to apply on an individual basis. But on a grander scheme, we have done multiple projects in Central Butte for sidewalk rehabilitation, replacement, lighting infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, things like that. So we can spend funds that benefit a neighborhood and a community overall, and isn't just an investment in that singular property. So I hope I helped answer your question.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Karen, Krista, Kristen, Pauline. Perfect. Just thank you guys. You know, a lot of development is happening around town, as much as people often don't think it is. It is happening, and that is kudos, many kudos to you guys and your department. So I just want to give you a shout out. And also, if you guys need anything, I guess, from me as a personal commissioner or anything, when the legislative session does happen, any type of we're pro this, I'm here to help on that for sure. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Thatcher. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Another great presentation. Great work. All right. 5, communication number 2024-216, Kelly Moody, Senior Companion Program Director, and Angela Nelmark, Foster Grandparent Program Director, Rocky Mountain Development Council, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024, to provide program updates and the allocation of the Butte-Silver annual funding. Welcome.
Present today. My voice is loud as is. But I have handouts that I would like to pass around, which is it's a little easier than a presentation for us. Today we're here to ask for a continuation to help support our wonderful programs. We also have some volunteers here, if there's time, to kind of describe some of their experiences and what they do for the community of Butte. For the Senior Companion Program, which I am the director of, Kelly Moody, we help homebound seniors and adults with disabilities maintain independent living through transportation and companionship. Transportation to medical appointments, grocery stores, just self-help needed necessities just to live independently. Isolation is still a reality with our homebound seniors. So transportation to Belmont, just to have lunch or just to engage, or just to have someone come to their home and socialize. We don't realize the isolation that our seniors endure when you're homebound, something that we take for granted for those who are still able to drive. Also, this program helps the volunteers. They themselves, once they retire, getting out into the community, staying active, both physically and mental, is very essential as far as, as we age, the mortality of aging. So this program is not only set for our clients in our community, but also for our volunteers. And the handout that is passed around, the first handout is when we recruit, or when I recruit, excuse me. The first handout is recruiting for volunteers. So it gives a highlight of what our volunteers will be participating in with our program. The second handout is for our clients. So that handout is placed throughout the community for clients to see what our program does and to contact us to get the needed services that they need. The main handout, or the big spreadsheet, that was for fiscal year 23, and some of the expenses and some of the things that we do and the donations or contributions that we receive. The one thing I did want to highlight, which I find pretty, I don't want to say incredible, but enlightening, is the independent sector's value on volunteerism. This year, or April 23rd, 2020, their estimated value for volunteer service time is $33.49 an hour. I think that's pretty, it speaks volumes on the importance of volunteerism and the benefits it has for the community. But outside of that, here in Silverbow, our volunteers drove 17,000 miles for their clients. Here in Silverbow, or Butte, I should say, I have 6 volunteers and 21 clients. My waiting list for clients is 32. That's 32 individuals that just know about my program that are in need of a volunteer. It's just someone to help them. That's high. I mean, that's really high. It's sad for my eyes. So recruitment is essential. I'm currently in a recruitment phase. The last couple of weeks have been kind of crazy for me. I have 7 counties, so recruiting is a high priority because it's just a well-needed service in our communities, especially when transportation is limited or not as accessible. Any questions?
So we'll typically ask questions at the end.
Oh, perfect.
Unless.
This is only my second rodeo.
Oh, no. unless you're done.
I am done.
Oh, okay. Okay. How about you go, and then we'll.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be some questions.
So
Thank
I
you.
am Angela Nelmark. I am the Foster Grandparent Program Director, so you have another brochure and flyer for that program. The Foster Grandparent Program volunteers go into elementary schools, Head Start, early Head Start, and work with children one-on-one, small groups, to provide support for their reading, math skills, academics, socialization, rocking babies at early Head Start, and just providing lots of extra support that teachers don't always have time to give these days. So you can see on that flyer the different sites that we're currently at in Butte. We're at the Action Inc. Head Start, Aware Early Head Start, many of the elementary schools within the school district, the Pause After School Care, and also Rocky's summer camps. So I currently have 18 active volunteers in this community. And to date, from July 1st through April 30th, they have served 14,619 hours and drove 7,860 miles. And I have principals calling me, the Head Start director calling me, saying they need more volunteers because they just need that support in the classroom. And they're benefiting. Kids are improving. I've just gotten lots of evaluations back as we're nearing the end of the school year from teachers, and the data is showing that kids are improving with just scores from when they started working with volunteers at the beginning of the year. And the teachers can't say enough good things about the impact that these volunteers are having in their classrooms. So that's the brief rundown of the foster grandparent program.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you so much for providing these services to our community, first off. And yeah, it's so important, the statistics on, the senior companion program in particular. Taking care of our seniors in our community is really important. So I just want to thank you for the work that you do. And now we'll open it up for two other commissioners. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It seems like there's always someone looking for volunteers, and I'm really, really glad that you came to the council, number one, so we could hear more about your wonderful programs, as you do every year, but number two, to get it on the public record that you do need more volunteers. And, these meetings are streamed live, they're watched and rewatched afterwards. And so I'm really glad that you're able to get it kind of out to the community through public channels, that you are in need of volunteers. And we can certainly do whatever we can do in our own private lives to mention that to our circles of friends and family, to see if there's anyone in our circles that might be interested in volunteering. And the work you do is very important. And I just really, from my heart, I want to thank you very much for it.
Yeah, well said. Commissioner Rudin.
Thank you. I was reading this caption at the bottom. This is for Kelly about Social Security and all that. And you mentioned that you do numerous counties and all that. In comparison to other counties, I don't know if you keep these stats, and if you do, where is Butte-Silver fit in here? I know we have a larger senior population. Is that true? And according to the percentile, we got to be hurting for volunteers here real bad, the way I see it, correct?
Correct. Thank you, Commissioner Rodan. As far as my program goes, and I'm hoping I'm answering this question correctly, where Silver Bow sits within my 7 counties is second.
Okay.
Lewis and Clark is my largest. Currently, I have orientation for 4 new volunteers next week. One is out of Butte, 2 in Helena, and 1 is out of Great Falls. Those are my new volunteers. In Helena, I have 22 volunteers. Here in Silver Bow and Butte, I have 6, as mentioned. Gallatin County, Bozeman, I have 1. And I have 4 in Great Falls. I do not have any in Boulder or Whitehall, which I'll be working on next. The scope of the program is finding the site, the volunteer, and the clients. And it's a little difficult to do it all at once, so there's tiers. Obviously, you can't have volunteers without a site, and you can't have clients without a volunteer. So it's going to be a strategic plan, work on the other 2. But hopefully the answer to your question is Lewis and Clark is my second, Silver Bow or Butte is my second. Or Lewis and Clark is my first, Butte is my second.
Okay.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Mankins.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Angela and Kelly, just wanted to thank you, but not discrediting what Kelly does in her senior program, but Angela with working with foster grandparents, and there are probably some foster grandparents here. I'm in the education. I wrote down a little bit of notes here that I'm going to read on. I mean, just the collaboration that you do to improve these students in our school district with literacy skills, assistance, social development, individual attention, role modeling, kindness and patience. I mean, when you're around somebody that, you know, your grandparents, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and if I could have my mom, their grandma there all the time with them, and just learning and dedicating this, I wrote down emotional and academic growth enhancement overall with the school community. It's just so important, and bringing wisdom and experience of the older generation that you bring to these children and they need to know. So the ones that you are out there, just so proud, and so I just can't say enough. And the more that, if anybody can hear out there, that the grandparents that can get into these schools and help with this is just outstanding. I mean, I applaud you all that are here, and give you all hugs and kisses, and you know, just the whole thing. So you guys are awesome. So I just appreciate.
Yeah,
what you all do.
I was gonna say this after the questions, but this leads into a good. Do you want to introduce the volunteers that you have here and have them stand up?
Sure. Debbie Brunel is my one foster grandma who came today.
Will you please stand up? Thank you.
She serves at Action Inc. Head Start.
And for the senior companion, I have Reed Shep and Patricia Martinez.
Well, thank you for coming to council and all the work you do. It's really appreciated. Are there any other questions, Commissioner Anderson?
Again, Chairman, thank you for the presentation, and thank you, ladies, for coming. And I'm very happy to acknowledge you and the work that you do. I worked for the school district for a while, did some subbing, and I saw the impact that a lot of the grandparents had and everything with it. The one question I have, it kind of goes right back to what Commissioner Mankins talked about. There's so many needs in our community, like Commissioner Shea and Commissioner Reardon mentioned also, that a lot of the people are being overworked and just asked to do an awful lot. The volunteers are always asked to help with this program, and then can you do this program? Can you go to this school also? Can you work an extra Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? Then I also noticed that most of the volunteers are older, and I saw here where it was for people 55 and older. Is that just for the reimbursement, or can younger people partake in that also? When I was with the Kiwanis, this is 25 years ago, to age myself a little bit, but up at Montana Tech, I had a group of student volunteers who went to Kennedy to help with mathematics and science classes, because a friend of mine taught up there, and it was a really good avenue to bring the young people in there. And I had some of the football players, and they loved it, and the kids loved it. You know, they go out at recess and play with the kids a little bit, throw the football around. Then they'd come in and teach the kids about mathematics and engineering and STEM, and really brought that passion to the children for learning. So is there a way with your programs where younger people, some of the college students, some of the high school students, some of the younger adults could partake and help with some of these programs?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Anderson. So these programs are both funded through AmeriCorps Seniors, so they are specifically for 55 and older, and that is due to a lot of it, they earn a stipend, and so they do have to meet that threshold for age requirements.
Okay.
As well as income. There's an income requirement as well.
Okay.
And that said, at the federal level has couldn't change that. We would love to, but unfortunately, that's beyond
Okay.
our capability.
Commissioner Callahan?
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Thank you, ladies. I just want to tell you thanks. I appreciate everything you do. If anything, you guys are very much underappreciated and under-recognized. But I want to give one more plug for the volunteers. From what I've seen, and I've had family that has volunteered, and I've been involved in the schools a little bit here and there, and the kids I see that the volunteers help. I see it helps the volunteers as much as it helps the kids. They get out of the house, they get to spend time with the kids, and it makes their day. I mean, they feel accomplished for the day instead of sitting home and not getting out of the house. And I highly recommend people be a volunteer because it's really good. It works good for the kids and it works good for the volunteers as well. And I just want to thank you again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments from commissioners? Thank you so much for coming. Really, really appreciate it, and thanks for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Okay. Next presentation is 6, communication number 2024-231. Shanna Adams, Principal Adams Consulting, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024 on the Business Improvement District in Uptown Butte. Ms. Adams, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson and members of the council. My name's Shanna Adams. I'm president of the Uptown Butte Master Plan Association. I'm here tonight to give you a really brief update, but to really talk about the Business Improvement District, which is one of the initiatives that we're pursuing right now. There are a couple of meetings next week, so I just want to let everybody know about those and give you a little bit more information. So just a little bit of background. I know most of you have come along on this journey with us, but in case folks haven't, how did we get here? There was a community meeting in 2018 in Uptown. There were about 75 or 80 property owners, professionals, and out of that meeting, there was a committee formed to take on this Uptown Butte master plan. We identified some funding sources, the state of Montana, private donations, and then also the URA. And just want to say this was very much kind of a business owner, property owner led effort, but we would not have had any success if it wasn't for Director Burns and the support of the URA. So the master plan process took about 2 years. Who knows, COVID, 4 years, we don't know. It was adopted in 2022 as part of the comprehensive plan. So just a couple slides on a reminder of why we're doing this. And I think this is just important for all of us to remember. So the revitalization of our commercial core is key to the economic development of our entire community. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here. So this is just an example of property values, just to kind of drive home the point of how much our commercial core, and in Butte, it's the Uptown area, has the potential to drive the economy for this entire community. So when we look at property values, you know, value per acre, you can see the couple at the top, and then the 2 examples on the bottom. These, you know, maybe don't look like big metropolises, but you can see the exponential difference in that value per acre for a downtown area versus like other areas in our community. And just one more to kind of drive home that point. So this is from a company called Urban 3. They do these all over the country, and this is a map of the net of what a parcel pays in versus what they pull out of a community in terms of infrastructure and services. So you can see kind of a downtown urban core area. They are contributing way more than they're pulling out in terms of infrastructure and services. This is not a problem. This is normal. Every town across the country looks like this, but it's just really important to understand that the commercial areas are contributing more and able to provide services for the rest of the community. What I like about this is that you can see how if a downtown was doing poorly and not contributing, it pretty quickly sucks all the resources out of a community, because you still need all those services, all that infrastructure, but there isn't that pay in to pay for it. And we've seen that all over the country in downtowns in rural America. Okay. These are the initiatives and projects that came out of the Uptown Butte Master Plan. There's about 30 of them there. The highlighted ones are ones that are underway. So on the top there, you know, we've established a committee. We meet every month, moving these projects forward. The next highlighted one is to market Uptown as a unique destination. And just in case folks don't know, the TBID has funded a marketing campaign. They've created some amazing commercials that are pushed out on social media and television, Hulu, and a bunch of places. If you haven't seen those, you can ask me, I can send you links. They don't always show up in the Butte area because they're pushed out for other areas for people to come to Butte. But they're really terrific, and they're working on more of those now. There is a pedestrian lighting study that will be completed in about a month or two. Imagine you will see an entire presentation on that, so just want to let people know that that's happening. So that will be like kind of choosing pedestrian lights for the Uptown area. They've laid out kind of where they need to be, spacing, that type of thing. Intersection improvements. So the plan identified a bunch of intersections in the Uptown area. The picture there is the new Clearwater Credit Union. I'm sure everyone has seen and been excited about that new building going up. I know I'm really excited about it. So that's the corner of Main and Granite. And the other picture there is from the plans to upgrade that entire intersection. So all four corners will be getting curb extensions, some planting, street trees, pedestrian lighting, those types of things. More intersection improvements. So I think Director Burns talked about this briefly. We are adding thermoplastic crosswalk enhancements to 9 crosswalks in Uptown. So 4 at Park and Main and 4 at Park in Montana, and then the concrete crosswalk right across from the parking garage. So those are a couple of proofs from the contractor, and then on the right is just an example. It's nice to see kind of what they're going to look like. These are scheduled to happen in June, so weather permitting, but that'll be very exciting. Wayfinding. So don't look too close at these. These are drafts, but there is a wayfinding plan going on right now for both vehicular and pedestrian. These are some renderings of examples. I think they gave us 3 to sort through. They got a whole bunch of comments. So these will come back updated, but just to give you a little taste of kind of what wayfinding is and what it will look like. Public Art Committee. So the public art ordinance was passed not too long ago. There will be a board established soon, which you all know, and just some pictures of some public art that has recently been added to our community. And then I don't have a slide for the National Historic Park designation, but there is work ongoing on that front right now. And actually, National Park Conservation Association is having like their regional meeting in Butte this week. And they're talking about the Butte designation today. So pretty fun stuff. Okay, so I'm really here to talk about the BID. Sorry it took me like 14 slides to get there, but the Business Improvement District is an initiative that we are working hard on right now. We got a grant through Big Sky Trust Fund. We hired a consulting group to help us through this process. Tracy Worley is here today with Cascadia Management Group. She's part of the team that's helping us through this. So if you have any hard questions, she'll answer those. So what is a business improvement district? It's defined in the law. It's a geographic boundary where there is an assessment made to the parcels within that boundary for the benefit of the parcels in that boundary. This is the definition that's in the law. Promote the health, safety, prosperity, security, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the district. It's probably the best part of that definition. Where is the business improvement district? So this is the boundary that we're working with right now. There are about 170 property owners of 249 total parcels. Skip that. So, sorry, my slides got a little messed up here, but so the BID, like I said, will be used for the benefit of this geographic area. Some of the things that it can be used to pay for are things that we talked about during the master planning process. So we had over 50 meetings, met with stakeholders all across the community, heard all sorts of issues, needs, wants, desires, and they line up really well with some of the things that we have here. So streetscaping and maintenance, pressure washing, snow removal, alley cleaning. I mean, you can kind of read through some of these. Safety was a big thing people talked about. The need to actually be safe, deter crime, but also feel safe in the uptown area. Business development, there's a number of things that we're working on in terms of activating storefronts and creating a database of all of the available spaces in uptown. You know, one of the things I talked about in the very beginning is just the value that the uptown area has and the potential that it has. You know, I think there are maybe a couple million empty square feet in uptown that could be for businesses, working professionals, could be generating revenue. So those are really the types of things that the business improvement district will be working on. Marketing, so I talked earlier about those commercials. You know, there is the Uptown Butte Business Collective that has formed themselves. They're raising money. They are contributing to those marketing efforts to create commercials. So this would, you know, be able to assist with those efforts. And then also projects, right? So we have a bunch of projects in the Uptown Master Plan. We are moving a lot of them forward with some grant dollars, but we don't have all the dollars to do all the projects. So this would be another dedicated funding source to help with that. And then just kind of general advocacy, grant writing. You know, it'd be nice to have a dedicated source looking for funding all the time for this area. Okay, so the process, May, June, July, August. Okay, so this month we're gonna have 4 meetings next week, and I'll tell you about those on the next slide. We'll be doing a lot of outreach, so, you know, it's the type of thing where we need to go door to door, and we need to talk to everybody, explain, you know, what the goals are. So we'll be doing that in June. And then probably mid-June to July, petitions will get mailed out. Hopefully we'll get a lot of those back through the door-to-door and at these meetings, but the ones we don't get will get mailed out. And then we need 60% of the property owners that want to participate. And once we get those, then we'll come to council in August for approval. Okay, so 4 meetings next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, lunch meeting, after work meeting, and then a morning meeting and a lunch meeting. And they will all be at Action Inc. We'll be kind of pushing this information out through social media and other places, but wanted to just let the council know. I'm sure folks will have questions. We've had a lot of good questions already, so this will be the place to come and get more detailed information. I think that's it. Yep.
Thank you so much. I think it's great that you're doing this. Commissioner Shea and I met with you all, or some members, a year ago, 2 years ago. I can't even remember when we met, but fully support this. My question for you is on the 60% of the property owners. So you said there's 170 property owners within the proposed district. You need 60% to sign over. Have you already started to, do you know all of the 170 property owners? I'm assuming a lot of those don't live in town. And then my follow-up is, well, I'll let you answer that first.
Okay, yeah, good question. And yeah, I didn't get into a lot of the details, but we do have detailed information on all the property owners, and we have, we can tell them what the assessed value or the assessment would be. So we went through kind of a long process to figure out what would be equitable, what was sort of reasonable, to come up with those assessments. So yeah, we have all the property owners and what their assessment could be, so we can tell them exactly what it'll be.
What they'll get out of. Okay. And then my follow-up on that is, so let's say you send out the petition for 60% and you just don't get anything back, like not a yes or a no. Does that mean, and you don't get the 60%, but let's say 10% out of you get 50 says yes, the other 40 says no, and 10 doesn't respond? Is it just dead? And are there certain ways that you can? Because it would be disappointing to me if people just didn't respond.
Right, and it's hard, right? I mean, if you got something in the mail and it said, we want to do this assessment on you, we want some of your money, like, I'm probably not mailing that back, right? So that's why the door-to-door is really important. These meetings are really important. We hope we get a lot of people there so we can have face-to-face conversations. I think that'll be the best way for us to communicate. And then, yeah, so we do need 60% or more. Hopefully we get a lot more than that. So there's no plan B.
Okay. Are there any other questions from commissioners? Oh, Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Always love seeing the Uptown Master Plan updates. It gets me so excited about what really could be happening around here. I think that's something I hope that all the businesses take into consideration. I think Cassie says it, but when you have a walkable place, more people will visit your businesses. It's just a more inviting environment. And so I do hope that people and businesses take that into consideration. Just for some clarification purposes, the amount that you guys have allotted, or I guess put on each business, that is a yearly payment, as I understand it. Is that correct?
Correct. So it would be assessed twice a year, just like the taxes are, and it would be a line item on the
tax bill.
Okay,
yep, that was going to be my next question.
But yes, the total assessment, as we explain it to people and talk to people, it is an annual assessment.
Okay.
Yep, follow up, Commissioner Thatcher.
Okay, and then you did mention this, but I saw it on the news today, the Butte Business Collective, so I was going to ask you about that. That is something a part of this group, or is that set on its own?
Yeah, so the Butte Business Collective is awesome. Shelly Connor has done a great job organizing people, raising money. They started a couple years ago to put on the Christmas stroll when it was a little uncertain because of COVID. And they did a bang-up job at that. And so now they are participating in the T-bid marketing efforts that are going on to create some commercials and then push those commercials out. So some of that money that they've raised is going towards that, and then they are raising more money to make that marketing campaign even bigger. And I think what's great about the Business Improvement District is that Shelly has had to work really hard and hustle to get all of these private business donations to put together a marketing campaign for Uptown, takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and that's a one-time fundraising effort, right? So what the business improvement district would be is an annual, consistent source of revenue to do exactly what that group has been doing. And yeah, so the business improvement district will also have a board of 7 members. And I think there's some members in the collective that may, you know, be willing to be board members of the BID. So yeah, there's a lot of synergy. There's like plenty of work to go around. So like the more the merrier.
Yep. Follow up, Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, my God. Could you tell me how you calculated, like the process of how you came to the amount for each parcel?
Yeah, great question, Commissioner Thatcher. So the assessment is a 3-pronged approach. So there is a flat fee of $150 plus 0.03 times the property's square footage plus 0.1% of the taxable value. So, you know, not trying to overcomplicate things, but as we looked at the different models around the state, a multifaceted approach seemed to be the most equitable. You know, if you were just going to look at taxable value, maybe that's not totally fair across the board. If you're just looking at square footage, then you're penalizing somebody who has a bigger building. Some places they'll look at the frontage on the road, like the linear frontage. So there's a lot of ways to do this that are allowed under the law. And we ran many scenarios and looked at what those assessments were. Okay, what is it over here? What is it over here? How about this parcel? And kind of came up with this assessment method as being what we felt was kind of the most equitable.
Okay. Follow up, Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. So this also then applies to vacant plots of land, not just something with something on it?
Correct. So yes, it applies to vacant land. It also applies to parcels owned by Butte-Silver Bow. It also applies to parcels owned by utility. Nonprofits that do not pay taxes are exempt.
Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you. Just trying to get it clear in my head. Okay, that's all cool. There are a couple things else I was writing down. So this Wildly Historic campaign, that's the one that's funded by the TBID. In most of the videos I've seen, maybe I haven't seen the ones of Uptown Butte, it's a lot of rural, I guess, and outdoorsy stuff. So I guess have they been released, I guess is a better question, of more specific Uptown Butte ones that we could all see? I know you touched on that a little bit. I just know I've seen some and there haven't been many Uptown.
Yeah, great question. And yes, I agree with you. And that is, I think, one of the reasons that Shelley Connor and the Uptown Butte Business Collective wanted to get involved with. She is so passionate about Uptown and all of the new businesses that are in Uptown. A lot of new retail, a lot of just new businesses. And so, yes, some of the new commercials are focused just on Uptown retail, you know, shopping, eating, drinking, stay, kind of those establishments.
Good.
Yep.
Follow up.
Thatcher.
Okay. Next, the question I had was the curb extensions in that Clearwater design. Was that the Clearwater design given by Clearwater, and is that something they are thinking they're going to do, or is that part of the Uptown Master Plan? Was that the vision of the Uptown Master Plan?
So the intersection improvements is a project that the URA has taken on. Like Director Burns was talking about, kind of piggybacking on other projects, right? So the Clearwater Credit Union was already planning to update their corner, and Director Burns capitalized on that, and we're going to do all 4 corners, and it's going to be a great kind of showcase for what these intersection improvements can be.
Director Burns, all right, you can come up.
I wanna speak for.
Looks like you're excited about this project, so we'll let you talk this time.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, members of council, and Shannon got it exactly right. But we are very excited about this project. The URA has engaged in the design work. We have a set of bid documents now. We're going to be looking at going out to bid very soon with those. We've engaged with Public Works and Montana Department of Transportation on this design. Everyone has been brought into the loop. So we will be hopefully going out to bid for that project, and those bids would be something that we would open here in front of the council and enter into that contract because it is public infrastructure. So more to come on that. We're just kind of getting our bid schedule together, construction oversight stuff figured out, but we're really excited about getting this project done. Thank you.
I'm excited for that. I am so scared every time I walk across that intersection. Commissioner Thatcher.
Well, shout out Director Burns. That's great news. Thank you. Lastly, I think this is my last question. If this business improvement district goes through, which God willing it does, the security. So is that going to be Butte-Silver police officers, or is that like a private security firm? And so then I guess with some of this money that goes on the tax bills, if it is the Butte-Silver public officer or police officers, then I would assume that that goes into their budget. How does that work?
Yeah, another good question. So it remains to be seen. So those ultimate decisions will be made by the board. But all of the above have been discussed. So the BID could pay Butte-Silver Police Department for, say, extra patrols weekend nights. Or they could pay private security to kind of make rounds whenever is appropriate. So yeah, all those options are on the table right now.
Commissioner Thatcher.
No further questions, just a comment. Shanna, you are so helpful in all of these things, and I hope that as a community we recognize that you really probably don't have to be doing these things, and so we are very lucky to have you leading the charge on this. So I just want to say thank you to you, and if there's something that, like I said to Director Burns and Kristen Rosa, I never remember the title, if I can help out, let me know.
Yeah. Kristen Rosa has many titles. I struggle with that myself. Commissioner Mankins.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson, and thank you, Shannon Adams and your team, everyone involved in getting this going. Commissioner Thatcher said it with, walkable. We got to have this. I mean, it's almost like we should pull up your slide again and go to where the parcels and go through the streets of all the boundaries right now and make sure that everybody is listening, that if you are available to these 249 parcels of the BID, we need you. You will get this paid back in full once we have this developed. You will be paid back in full. It's kind of like goes to, if you build it, they will come. They will come. This is a great vision. And without the vision of these people that are sitting out there, this is amazing. I mean, the 9, we didn't even talk about, I can't believe that Thatcher didn't bring up like the 9 crosswalks. I mean, that was one of the points she just didn't make. That's, yeah, come on, Hattie. Get this taken care of. I mean, but this is outstanding work. And I hopefully that our community understands this, and they're listening and they're watching and they're going to be there, and be ready for the knock. And like I said, if there's any help that I think that any of us could do to help in that process, don't hesitate to ask, because we are there for you for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Chairman Frederickson. Kind of hard to follow up Mankins on that one. Good job. And that, thank you for all you guys' hard work. It's awesome. Like you mentioned synergy and feeling the vibe of Uptown Butte and stuff. It's great. So just appreciate you guys' hard work. Keep going. It's awesome. So thank you so much.
Okay. Anything from any other commissioners? All right. Thank you so much, Shanna. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And to the rest of the committee that is working on this also. Thank you. Yet? No. All right, Section 2 Communications. 1, communication number 2024-204, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Grant Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for May 22nd, 2024 for the hazardous tree removal at Stodden Park. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will make a motion to place communication number 2024-204 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything? Can commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion 0 nay. Motion passes. 2, communication number 2024-205, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Grant Manager, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a public hearing on May 15th, 2024 for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget to allow for increased expenditures of unanticipated revenue regarding the National Arbor Day Foundation grant. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to place communication number 2024-205 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 3, communication number 2024-209, Kristen Rosa, Economic Development Coordinator, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024 regarding the annual reports of the URA, HAS, South Butte TED, and Montana Connections TED. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will make communication number 2024-209 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 4, communication number 2024-213, Karen Burns, Community Development Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence for the opening of proposals for 2023-2024 Economic Development Mill Levy funds on May 15th, 2024. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will make a motion to place communication number 2024-213 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 5, communication number 2024-214, Eric Hassler, Department of Reclamation and Environmental Services, and Josh Bryson, Liability Manager, Atlantic Richfield Company, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 15th, 2024 to provide an update on remedial design and remedial action activities for the Silverbow Creek Conservation Area. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will make a motion to place communication number 2024-214 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. 6, communication number 2024-216, Kelly Moody, Senior Companion Program Director, and Angela Nelmark, Foster Grandparent Program Director, Rocky Mountain Development Council, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024 to provide program updates and the allocation of the Silverbow annual funding. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will make a motion to place communication number 2024-216 on file.
Motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Commissioner Anderson. Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. 7, communication number 2029. Julia Crane, Planning Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a public hearing on May 22nd, 2024, Committee of the Whole meeting, and to recommend the Council of Commissioners approve the Comprehensive Plan Amendment number 24-000001. A resolution has been prepared and will be on the May 22nd, 2024 agenda. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I will motion to place communication number 2024-229 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. Motion passes. 8, communication number 2024-231, Shanna Adams, Principal, Adams Consulting, LLC, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization for a presentation on May 22nd, 2024 on the Business Improvement District in Uptown Butte. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would make a motion to place communication number 2024-231 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? Commissioner Walker. Clerk, will you record the vote?
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion 0 nay. Motion passes. 9, communication number 2024-240, Angie Mulliken, Public Works Budget and Grants Writer, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence to schedule a bid opening for May 22nd, 2024 for the LED lighting upgrade for the detention center. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would make a motion to place communication number 2024-240 on file.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything on the question? Would commissioners please vote? You record the vote. Oh.
9 yea, 0 nay.
9 yea, 0 nay. Motion passes. I will now ask for public comment on any public matter not on the agenda. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion. Oh, Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to let the opportunity go by for me to thank you for your many years of service. I know how passionate you are about public service, and you've been an inspiration for me, and you've taught me a lot. I think we all kind of teach each other up here, but there isn't a one of us that's up here for any other reason than doing the public service, but you did it really good. You did it really well, and I think you're going to knock it out of the park as the Parks Director.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate those kind words. Director Neary. Your mic.
I shut it off when I pulled up. I got asked to open this bid kind of late today, and I should have done my homework on it, but the amount of the grant was $145,250. $145,250. And so that would have been our engineer's estimate too, so.
Yep, go ahead, Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Mark. What happens, so if the bid come in at half that, what happens to the extra money, or can you use that on some other projects, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chairman Fredericson, Commissioner Callahan, we would have to go through and make sure that they checked all the boxes on the bid. And then I believe the grant was for removal and replacement. So they could use some funds for replacement trees too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for the
Thank you.
clarification. Yep. I will now ask for a motion to adjourn. All those in favor, or do we have a second? Good. All those in favor, signal by saying aye. All opposed? Thank you so much.